Okay, hey everyone, welcome back. It's been a pretty long time, but we are here again to do another hopefully fun game. So as you can see, we have Pokemon FireRed, but as I've kind of made at least part of my gimmick, I guess you could say, as a recent playthrough. It's relatively recent because it's been, well, probably about a year and a half or almost 2 years probably since I think my last video. This is going to be another randomizer. Kind of settled on doing the Pokemon Fire Red. Mostly because I was originally going to do sort of a specialized version of this hack. It was a Pokemon Fire Red 898. Let's see what I'm going to need Jerry because reminds me of the annoying owner of the White Sox, Jerry Reinsdorf, who makes me very miserable now that baseball season's coming up. But that's a whole another story. Yeah, so I was going to do the FireRed 898 randomizer. Though I kind of ran into a little bit of limitations on the way that ROM hack was made. So it had its own sort of built-in randomization features. The only problem is that some of them didn't work 100% like you're supposed to. Like, there would be things like any of the trainers of the same class, like you're going to the Viridian Forest and you're fighting a bug catcher. So anytime they would have originally had, like, say, a Weedle, it would always be replaced by the same Pokemon, so that Weedle would always end up getting replaced by, I don't know, like a Geodude or whatever. So every time they would have that. Okay, so we have Tauros, Torkoal, or Elekid. I'll go with Tauros. If we were doing Gen 1 and we weren't randomizing everything, Tauros is actually a really good Gen 1 Pokemon. Still kind of cool in Gen 3, but, Yeah, let's see. We will be... yeah, this is very creative, by the way. We're going to have him be El Toro. Yes, I know, I'm like blatantly just using Spanish here, but I always kind of use that as for Tauros. It's a reference to the ride from Six Flags over in New Jersey, the roller coaster El Toro. It was probably one of the best roller coasters I've ever ridden on. I mean, I haven't ridden on a bunch of them, but it's always been kind of highly rated. So let's see. I should have actually looked to see what ability, but I guess that can be a surprise for later. I always kind of forget about checking random moves. Let's see what we got. Oh, cool. He has Intimidate. That's fun. Let's see. Ingrain, Shadow Ball, and Overheat. Oh, fun. Stomp. Well, at least I've got some better speed on him here. Well, actually, we're pretty close because he attacked me first. Yeah, so we're pretty much like equal speed, but that's alright. You're done. Oh, man. Just not quite enough. Oh, yeah, and he's Juggler. So he's not just our rival. Our rival is actually a Juggler. Yeah, you have fun with that. But yeah, so like I said, so there was there was a kind of quirk with the trainer, and another big kind of I hate to say disappointing aspect. Quiet injure prevents confusion. Well, that's not so terrible. I mean, if you who knows if someone's going to be coming along with stuff like confused rays and stuff like that. So yeah, it could be worse. The gym leaders. I was going to say gym leaders were kind of a issue with. Oh my gosh, Registeel. That's pretty. Pretty interesting. But yeah, gym leaders. So the problem with the gym leaders in that game would have been that even with their Pokemon randomized, Flareon, their Pokemon being randomized, they would always have the same moves. So like if you go to Brock, like whatever Pokemon replaces Geodude would only ever have Tackle and Defense Curl, and so on and so on. So, I mean, it's not like it would have been the biggest deal in the world. Like, maybe the bonus of having, like, all the later generation Pokemon that, which, having them, like, get really well-made custom sprites for Gen 3 was pretty cool. But it was just kind of like, I wasn't sure, and the other problem was that since it was kind of like a custom ROM hack, it had the kind of limitation of like I couldn't use like randomizer like I used for doing this version to sort of like brute force custom randomization options, and I guess another thing is like I also like having randomized items and stuff. So just I probably still could have had a good playthrough with that, but like I said, I figured out, well, I don't know, I'll think of something else. So then I was kind of like in between doing like maybe I'll try to get this Flareon here. Let's see. There's one problem with doing randomizer. I only have regular Pokeballs and Volt Tackle. Holy smokes! All right. Well, we might only have one shot at doing this here. But yeah, I also have to deal with someone unfortunate capture rates. I mean, like I guess I could technically save states, but I don't want to rely on that just for capturing like a regular wild Pokemon. But yeah, so I was kind of in between. Alright, I guess I missed doing this one. But yeah, I was kind of in between doing. Well, I guess I can try one more time. Yeah, doing like this, or maybe doing like Emerald, because I kind of wanted to do Gen 3. And eventually, obviously, just decided to do this one. Well, alright, well, we tried. I think the Flareon would have been kind of interesting, but congratulations for winning without really doing anything. I suppose. Well, just in case, I'll use one of my potions here. But yeah, then as far as like not doing recordings for a while, like I guess the long story short version would have been mostly just like work related. I guess I could say work related reasons. Like a big part was like a while back I'm not even gonna try because regular Pokeballs capture rate on the legendary is so bad. But like work related thing, like a while back I ended up like switching my schedule around, so like I started an hour earlier every day, and since like I typically do, you know, always do my recordings like early in the day, like in the morning, usually before I work, you know, having like an hour less each day was kind of a, you know, not the best for that. Alright, let's see what random item we've got here. X speed, well, I guess that's okay. Alright, what does Route 22 have for us? A Zangoose, okay. It's interesting. What else do we have? Shed Ninja. Now, without it having Wonder Guard, that's going to be really useless. Although I guess I can probably just farm some experience points from you. So we'll just do that. So yeah, like, yeah, so work, you know, mostly like work related issue. And then there was a good stretch for a while where we were kind of low staff for a bit, and even though it's not like a really stressful job in the usual sense, like when you have like a pretty extended period, like we were kind of low, like pretty much a skeleton crew for, it was like 2-3 months, something like that. And yeah, I have to do this guy too. Yeah, they forced you to launch this guy's capture tutorial. I kind of forgot about that. Gens were doing that. Oh, cool, you got an Electabuzz, huh? But yeah, so 2-3 months, and then that was just kind of like, oh man, if I'm gonna be extra busy for an extended period of time, you know, well, whatever. Not always in the mood for doing like other stuff sometimes. It was like, sometimes it's just like enough to turn them, you know, put on whatever other game for my ever-growing backlog to do. And that was kind of like another thing with doing games, like when I was trying to determine what I would want to start with doing here, like, oh gosh, Goldeen. You know, I thought, you know, well, maybe I would be able to do something like a, you know, something from like my PlayStation backlog. Now, the only problem with that, it's like, I could do remote play to my laptop, you know, that's not really an issue, but I don't know if it's just because my laptop is like that old or whatever, but like the minute I started, holy smokes, yeah, the minute I started trying to do, you know, a recording with a game, you know, like the OBS studio would just like start lagging like crazy. Wow, regular potion. Okay. Zangoose again. See, I thought my options were supposed to prevent me running into these same kind of Pokemon in the wild, but whatever. Let's see. Another random item over here. Sea King. Ah, man. This is not like the best choice. An amulet coin. Well, since I don't really have any kind of other decent items at the moment, I might as well give him and increase my monetary gains. But yeah, so yeah, maybe just because my laptop was that is that kind of old. I already had this one for like about 6-7 years at this point. And it wasn't like a high-end laptop to begin with. So yeah, not really able to find any way of doing that. And the only other thing to do would it be like to get a capture card, and those can be kind of expensive for any ones that are like even halfway decent. I guess I can try and see. Let me see how happens if I use overheat on you. I think the rain's gonna make this, even less helpful. Whoa! I mean, the attack is not so great, but like an earthquake on that guy, that was kind of unexpected. Oh, come on. Wow. Yeah, see, like I said, with going back to Gen 3, with the ghost moves still being physical. Bone Meringue. Alright. I can work with that. See, I really should just be leveling up here a little bit so I can go back and take on the rival here. But yeah, like, it would have been nice to do some games from that. Like, it's always like, kill two birds with one stone, take a game out of the backlog maybe, and then, do something like maybe a little bit different that isn't just like going back to games I can run on like Game Boy or N64 emulator or whatever. I don't really want to deal with seeking. Well, I can try to see what happens if I take on you, because I can use Bone Meringue now. Yeah. Eventually I might find another Pokemon to add to my team. We'll see. Not really, I would have liked to add the Flareon, but whatever. Of course, now I'm thinking of Pokemon, it's I guess you could say it's a little bit ironic that I ended up back with a Pokemon game, because like a part of part of my problem with recently was like getting like burnt out on a lot of the newer games. Like not really so much because any of them were bad or anything, because like I enjoyed like doing Sword and Shield and Arceus Legends and the Diamond Pearl remake. Then you also have Scarlet, and like I said, it just felt like with them coming out, it felt like all on top of each other, which even gets back in the day, the Pokemon releases did kind of come out frequently, but when you don't have as much free time and you have like a bunch of other games that you also are trying to find time to play, like it feels like if you just feel like you don't always get the chance to like really sit down and enjoy the game before the next one's coming out. Okay, now I gotta start playing the next one or whatever. Vice Grip, okay. So I mostly just was like, okay, I gotta take a break, and then I had started a video for Pokemon Yellow, a while back, and I ended up kind of stopping that one, mostly just because, like, with Gen 1, like, if you're not doing it as a randomizer, it can definitely feel like a bit limited, and just because like the move pool in Gen 1 is really shallow. Like, you know, anyone that's played Gen 1 can pretty well attest to that. Alright, let's see. I think level 10 should probably be okay for the rival, so I don't... Depends on what his new secondary Pokemon is here. Pidgeotto, well... You know, I guess that kind of makes sense. Alright, so yeah, Shadow Ball and Bone Ring aren't going to help me, so I have to just kind of rely on Overheat here. Alright, what do you have? Air Cutter. That's great. But, yeah, so I figured, you know, let's go back to the randomizer and then at least do Gen 3, which, you know, has a lot more variety in terms of what moves I'm going to be able to use here. You know, it'll be a little bit better in that regard. And like I said, you know, it's also, you know, pretty simple game-wise. Like I say, the one always nice thing about doing a randomizer in pretty much any game where it's like, you can always kind of cover up, maybe not always having top-level skill, because, like, well, any issues you run into, like, say, if you were to do something kind of crazy, like fire punching a dugong, or, you know, whoever would do such an insane thing, you know, they can always be covered up by... you know, just like, oh, I can just blame it on the quirkiness of the randomizer. And like I said this before, it also really kind of it helps you look at things from, you know, new perspectives. Like, especially when I'm doing like Mario, it's like, you know, seeing, you know, enemies in weird places and things like that, you know. And then with Pokemon too, you know, you could be like, well, you know, we're going to, you know, go into this Verdian forest, and you know, you're usually thinking you're dealing with, you know, Caterpies and Weedles and what have you, but you don't know what they're gonna have. So let's see what you've got for me. Rocker Kim, Poliwhirl. So that's fine. We can just yeah, great. Charge. Yeah, we can deal with that, I guess. Yeah, might as well. I could, like, use Overheat and all that, but, well, you know, why? Ah, Sandstorm. That is always interesting. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, yeah, you never know what kind of you know, what kind of ability is going to end up coming into play here. I'll try Boomerang. I'd rather rely on my attack to take him out, yeah. At least getting the multiple hits. I know, like, the ground kind of cancel out by grass, but rather than dealing with, you know, the special attack, which may or may not work, you know, we'll just go ahead with that. Parasect! Yes! Alright, this time I will use Overheat just because that's going to absolutely shred. I love Parasect, but I'm gonna have to exploit your crazy weakness to fire. Oh man, he's just rocking the Parasect here. It probably will still be powerful enough, I don't know. Yeah. So it's kind of sad. I always wish that the Parasect got more love. Ooh, interesting. That's a fun one. Luckily, we have just the ticket. See, then beyond this, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'll still do some things, you know, as long as I keep up with doing videos and stuff like that. I'll still try to do some non-randomizer things. Like, I also had to plan like doing like more Mario ROM hacks because I mean the Mario 64 randomizer was a lot of fun, but I also had like a lot of fun with things like cursed castles and you know, oh, good. That's great. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with doing that. So, and I wanted to do Mario 74 for a pretty long time. It's one of those things where it's. I've watched the 74 Extreme Edition, Psywave. I don't really want Psywave. Psywave is such a weird attack. Oh, press B. Whoops. Stop learning Psywave, yes. Yeah, Psywave is such a weird attack because it does like the random between like half and 1.5 of your HP as damage. I forget exactly, but I'm like 99% sure that was how that one worked. Heat Wave, wonderful. But yeah, like I wanted to do 74, but as I said, as I was saying, I've ended up watching like the Extreme Edition, like videos of doing that, like, so I've never really watched much of, you know, the original version of the game, which is, you know, kind of funny now, you know, thinking about it. Like I have no real knowledge of how a lot of the regular version of levels look like, just the really souped up hard difficulty ones. So I wouldn't mind going back and doing that one. It is like an older hack, but okay, more bugs. Well, I only have one more overheat anyway, so yeah, we'll just use some Shadow Ball here. I think Boomerang should be able to finish it off. I still have another trainer to get through, and I don't want to use all of my good moves just for that. Alright, well, I guess at least they're being somewhat consistent in terms of using bugs. So yeah, I'll have like something like that on the back burner, and you know, I'll also want to try to keep up with the randomizers. Oh my. Trout. Yes, an ice-type Pokemon using that. Alright, well, I think I'll just use Overheat. Just because you kind of asked for that one by increasing fire moves, so, you know. But yeah, there's always, like I said, there's always room for more randomizers. I mean, I wouldn't mind, like, if I was able to, if I thought my laptop could handle, like, some of the later generation Pokemon games, you know, doing some of those. I'm not sure how well they'll work. It was already kind of, like, groaning at me when I tried to run Hard Gold, so I don't even want to think about trying to set up, like, a 3DS emulator for anything else. Wow, man, Aggron. Alright. Fortunately, Boomerang is going to just absolutely obliterate you. Alright, so we're kind of at 3 minutes. I think I will go ahead and I'm gonna just get to the town. I will save doing Brock for next time. I don't think any of these guys have any... Yeah, I don't think anyone had any items or anything like that. Let me just take. I'm just gonna take a quick pick to see if there's any interesting Pokemon in here. Well, a Trico could be interesting. So, I think maybe I will. Yeah. So I'm just gonna go ahead and save. So I'm gonna look around. I might off screen just look and see if there's any interesting Pokemon and if I'm able to capture anything. But other than that, if I end up having a new teammate, we will find that out rather shortly by the time the next video goes. And if not, we will, at the very least, be doing Brock and then going through to Mount Moon the next time. So, till later, everybody.